Alright, so welcome back. We're going to do another episode here. This is going to be a quick cooking episode. All we're going to make today is just a side dish. We're not going to make a main dish, a soup, or anything like that. So first things first, hands should be clean. Did you wash your hands? Get you underneath your nails. Should be nice and clean now. But what we're going to make is actually a Korean side dish. It's soybean sprouts. I believe the actual name for this is a banchan. It's just a small side dish served with a meal. What you're going to need for this is 8 to 12 ounces of soybean sprouts. Now I'm going to tell you right now, when you open this bag, you're going to smell them. And if you think the smell of them is strong now, wait till later. Next thing you're going to need, just a couple green onions. I just have 3 small green onions here, and that's going to be plenty. You're going to need, if you can see it, 1 clove of garlic, and about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of toasted sesame seeds. You don't want plain sesame seeds for this, you want toasted. Next, you're going to need a pot and drop about 1 cup of water inside of it. Just pretty much enough to go along the bottom, it's not a whole lot. And make sure it's a pot that you have a tight fitting lid for. Next, real simple, 2 teaspoons of salt and drop that into your pot. At that point, go ahead and put the lid on your pot, turn your heat on to medium so it can start heating up. Next ingredient you're going to need some crushed red pepper. Now this you can get from the Asian food marts. I'm going to flip this onto the macro lens. Okay, so you get kind of a picture there. These are actual flakes. You don't want powder. You want the coarse ground for this. Now for 12 ounces of soybean sprouts, you want approximately 1.5 tablespoons of crushed red chili peppers. Or crushed red peppers. At least that's how much I like it. You may not like it as hot as I do. I've been told by some people I really don't have taste buds. I've burned them all off. So maybe you want to start with half a tablespoon to 1 tablespoon. Last, you're going to need your seasonings. Now, the last couple of seasonings I have for this is a mixture I've already mixed up. I have inside of this is my standard mixing container. If you can see inside of here, I have 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and I have a splash of apple cider vinegar inside of here. Now, that's not part of the normal recipe. It's just, I like it. It adds just a little bit of a tanginess to it that's not otherwise there. Now, your pot should be heating up. At this point, I've already done it, but rinse your soybeans. There. And you can see those again. At this point, rinse your soybeans. You want to rinse them 2-3 times. Make sure you've removed any hulls that are still attached to them. If there are any that have gone bad, you will find a couple inside of your bag that have gone rotten. Normally, these are sold in Asian markets in 1 to 1.5 pound bags. You can sometimes find it in stores in smaller sizes. Like I said, I'm only cooking about 8 to 12 ounces here. This is about 4 cups inside this container. So it's deceptive in how many it is. Okay, once your pot's heated up, it should be somewhat heated up by now as you've had it on medium heat. But this is a dish that I was introduced to when I first got stationed in Korea. Now, I went to Korea like a lot of Americans who don't come from a very diverse culinary background, in that I went there thinking, my God, there's no way I'm going to eat kimchi. And I was pleasantly surprised. It was actually quite good. This is one of the more mild dishes. Like I said, I had a splash of vinegar to it. However, it doesn't come with vinegar in it. This is not a fermented dish. It's just cooked. Now, I can try to pronounce the name of this dish, but it's the actual name is Kongnamul Muchim, or something like that. And I'm sure if there's anyone out there who speaks Korean who just heard what I wrote, that was horrible. But at this point, your pot should be heated up, water nice and warm, salt all nice and dissolved. So take your soybean sprouts, drop them on in there, and set your timer for 10 minutes. Now, of course, your soybean sprouts are not going to be covered. that wasn't the point. This is more of a steaming kind of a cook. Now, while they are cooking, do not open them. The smell that I mentioned of soybean sprouts being fairly strong, you're going to find out if you open that pot while there's boiling water and soybean sprouts is amazingly strong. So don't open it. While they're cooking, you've got about 10 minutes here to prepare everything else. So take your green onions, trim off your roots, and chop them up. Take your garlic, same thing, mince it. Now we're just going to wait the last few minutes for our soybeans to finish cooking, and we'll be back after that. So our pot is just about done. Now what I forgot to mention is that salt was for the water. You now want about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of salt to put on them. And I didn't mention it, but you're going to need sugar. Now I don't use sugar, I use honey for this last part. You want about 1/2 tablespoon you're going to add to your sauce. Now like I said, I use honey, I don't use sugar, and use the amount that you want to use, and that looks good to me. That's probably not quite actually 1/2 tablespoon, but this is just normal, natural honey, nothing crazy about it. Your soybeans finish cooking, like they did. Take them off the heat, drain them, see? And at this point, if you can see them, the soybeans, when they went in there, were nice and firm and solid, and now they should be cooked. They're going to slightly more translucent white. You're going to drain them and let them cool. As I mentioned, I allowed mine to cook for 15 minutes, and because they cook for 15 minutes, I'm going to rinse them to cool them off quicker so the soybeans stop cooking. If you, on the other hand, had only cooked them for 6 minutes, which some people do, they like a much crispier soybean sprout, then you don't want to rinse them right away necessarily. You want them to continue cooking for just a moment. And they should be nice and rinsed off now. They've cooled down. I'm going to let them drain in the strainer here. I don't want all the water. Once you've strained them and drained them, go ahead and place them into a small container, about like this. This was my 4-cup. Yes, this was my 4-cup container, and my cooked soybeans that I essentially filled it are now only coming up to about the 1.5 cup mark. So go ahead, add your green onions and garlic. Sprinkle with your salt. Take your sauce, if you used honey like I did, mix it up, stir it up, so your oils and vinegar that you have in here dissolve the honey, because otherwise you're going to need to add more directly to it. Okay, that will have mostly dissolved it. Go ahead and drizzle that across it. As you can tell, the honey is still coming out. Let's see. Let's get that last little bit out of there. Not using a spoon, but that's okay. Stir it to mix it well together. take your crushed red pepper flakes, sprinkle them across, dump them in, whatever you want to do. And let's give it one last little mix here. And then mix in your toasted sesame seeds. Now your toasted sesame seeds are more of a topping. Some people don't actually add them until they're actually going to eat it. However, what I like to do is I mix this up, put it in the refrigerator, and then I have it to take in with my lunches. Now, there is a significant difference between this and mini kimchis. This has not been fermented. So, as you notice, I used a splash of vinegar. They only lightly had a little bit of salt added. The rest of this is soy sauce and sesame oil. This is not a preserved food. It's not pickled. This will go bad. Where the high vinegar content kimchis can essentially sit unrefrigerated even if they have to, although, hey, safety-wise, refrigerate them. But this will go bad. So generally, I will eat this much easily within 3 days. No problem. Taking it in with lunch every day. So go ahead, put a lid on it. And we're going to put it inside the refrigerator, and that's it. So, hope you enjoyed this. Maybe next time we'll make something a little bit different, but I think next time maybe don't know what we'll make next time. So if you want to leave a comment, let me know what you'd like to see me make. If it's something I can make without breaking the bank, maybe I'll do it, and maybe I'll burn it, and maybe I'll even chop off a finger if I'm not paying attention. So, see y'all next time. Bye.